Raymond Stump, who's a good friend whom I just met not that long ago. First of all, Raymond, do you mind telling us who you are and what do you do in the game industry?
Of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Raymond Stump. I am a senior game designer. I have been making games for 12 years now, professionally a little bit shorter than that. And I just love throwing this part in there as part of my introduction. I knew I wanted to make games when I was 7 years old. I beat a game that was very near and dear to my heart, pivotal experience in my life. And I'm so happy to be able to actually pursue my dreams that I had way back when I was a young child.
Please.
Yeah, that question, it's the same game for both. Yes. It is a game called Grandia, the first Grandia to be very specific. I played that on the PlayStation 1, and the whole story revolves around this character named Justin who gets to explore the world, adventure, kind of be a kid exploring this giant place. Really resonated with me because I was a kid in the middle of Indiana, kind of grew up between three cornfields and a swamp. And that story changed my worldview and let me know that I also wanted to explore the world. And it was just such an emotional journey living through this video game.
Yes.
I reflected that on myself and I was like, I want to create experiences like this.
Right.
So growing up, it was my favorite game. To this day, it's still my favorite game. I likely beat it close to 10 times. Yeah. I play it every couple of years at this point. When I was younger, I played it a lot. Excellent game. It's very personal to me. Oh man, that's such a great question. There are a lot of people that I would invite to dinner.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it's okay if you can say up to 3, but please do say to tell why A, B, and C.
Yeah. I feel a little embarrassed because just on the moment, my mind is blanking.
Yeah.
He was the creative director for BioWare for a long time.
Yes.
I believe his name is James Olin. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to double check, just on the spot. But he had such an impact on the RPG genre.
Yes.
In general.
Yes.
Of course, there's a lot of creative people that made those contributions. It's not just one person.
Yes.
But I would love to sit down with him and just pick his brain about his journey between Baldur's Gate 1 onward, and even with his current project that was announced recently, Exodius, right?
Yes.
It would just be really cool to pick his brain because he's been part of the RPG genre just for so long. It would just be absolutely fascinating.
Yes.
Absolutely. It is amazing. Grew up with those games. I'm a fan of those games. I have a lot of respect for how they are built and the thought processes behind them. So, and the games you mentioned are excellent ones as well. So, I'm glad you got to go to the talk.
Yes, I did. Yeah, absolutely loved it. Felt like I was 10 years old over again.
Oh, excellent.
Very cool.
Yeah. To validate, it is a very hard time, especially for people coming out of college looking for their first job. Yeah. The number one advice I can give, which isn't going to directly get you a job, but will eventually, is to just stick with it.
Yes.
When I jumped out of college, I didn't have a degree in game design. I had some prior contract work that I got paid for while I was doing this work in college.
Yes.
But I continued to do contract work for the next year.
Yes.
And I put in about 100 applications over that next year.
Yes.
And the numbers were slim, right? I got maybe 10 responses back from that 100. I got about 4 interviews, and then one finally, stuck.
Yeah.
Stick with it. If you're not able to break in immediately, make sure that you still support your financial, emotional, and physical health while you do it. There's absolutely no shame in that. During my journey, at some points, I picked up odd jobs here and there as supplemental income when contract work just simply wasn't there. There wasn't as much as I needed to live on. At the end of the day, it's a hard market. Be true to yourself. Keep working hard. Use your supplemental resources to your advantage while continuing to work towards your goals and passions. Yes. I think a common misconception is if you don't get into it immediately, that it can feel like the end of the world. Yes. But truly and honestly, it's not. Everybody's path and journey just
Yes.
takes different turns, and everybody gets there.
Right.
Oh, I mean, in games, it's such a diverse field
Yes.
that, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking through it, and almost anything you are interested in can apply to it. Even if we take out kind of the software technicality,
Yes.
there's people that are interested in the hardware technical component, and there's jobs like that in the industry.
Yes.
There's so many different types of art jobs.
Yes.
There's technical design jobs. There's a lot of things that blend. And so my advice would be, don't necessarily worry about that at that young age, right?
Yes.
When you are 10 through 18,
Yes.
your focus should be more on finding what you like.
Yes.
Because if you find what you like and you find your groove, which will absolutely change over time,
Right.
you'll be more inclined to do these things and find your passion and work on your passion, and it will show.
Yes.
So I would say focus less on kind of, which area would be best for me to get into.
Yes.
And more so you have the time, the space, and the flexibility at that age to go, okay, I don't need to figure that out. I just need to figure out what I like and I don't like at that point in time,
Yep.
and just continue to make content around those things that you like and don't like.
Yep. Perfect.
Yeah, there's so many of them. There's like Myers-Briggs, there's Ikigai, which is the one that I love the most.
Yep.
There's a ton of them.
Yep.
So I recommend everybody check all of them out.
Yes.
And they all have their own strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
And you can cherry pick the information that you like from those assessments for yourself.
Yep.
Talk just briefly about Ikigai. It is a Japanese concept that if you can find the center of 4 key areas of your life,
Yes.
that you have found your Ikigai or your meaning to life. And if you can
Yes.
find kind of your meaning to life, you'll do better work. If I remember the 4 concepts correctly, it is what you're good at, what you can be
Yes.
paid for,
Yes.
what the world needs.
Yes.
And there is a 4th. Do you remember the 4th one?
Your interest or your passion.
Yes, your passion, which is very important. So if you can find
Yes.
something that's at the center of all 4 of those, you found your
Yes.
Ikigai.
Yes.
Another thing that I just think is just generally useful to all people of all ages, in terms of finding out a little bit more about themselves, is to ask your close friends
Yes.
and family
Yes.
what they think your interests are,
Yes.
right? So, you know me, I would sit here and say, hey, Michael, I just wanted to ask, what do you think I would be good at?
Right.
You know, I could say, hey, Michael, could you tell me where my strengths and weaknesses lie?
Yes.
And it's always kind of hard listening to somebody tell you their perception of you, but it can be
Right.
eye-opening.
Yes.
And I think particularly with trusted individuals, that's also a great way to understand who you are as a person a little bit better.
Yes.
And be able to focus on those key areas of your life. So personality assessment tests, Ikigai, love it, love it, love it. And
Yeah.
then just talking to friends and family about their perceptions of you, which could help you understand yourself better.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll talk about that latter part first,
Yep.
about the transferable skills, and then I'll
Yes.
circle back around
Please.
to discussing the accessibility of these things.
Yep.
I'm actually a huge proponent that games is such a mixed media and mixed form and takes so many disciplines that the act of building games on small teams, large teams, otherwise, almost all the skills are transferable, right?
Yes.
The biggest thing, learning.
Yes.
There's so much to do on a game, especially on a small team. You have to wear so many hats. You learn to learn quicker, right? I know it's
Right.
kind of weird, but yeah, you learn to learn faster. And
Right.
I always find that very fascinating. Another big transferable one that goes across all industries is time management
Yes.
and product or project management.
Yes.
Again, no matter what size your team is, going through the process of starting and finishing a project,
Yep.
or a game, or a board game, or whatever type of video game media it may be,
Yeah.
you learn those very essential skills, and that will transfer over to every single area of your life.
Yeah.
Whether it is, I worked in a factory, right? Whether it's your factory job and being able to do time management well, whether it's working at a big corporate company and knowing how to work with a project that takes a few months. Like, there's so many transferable skills.
Yes.
It is actually insane, like how transferable many of these skills are.
Yeah.
To circle back around to the accessibility, I was in that situation where it just wasn't accessible to me.
Right.
It all came about as I played a game, loved it, had a great experience with it that changed me personally.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I didn't have knowledge or mentorship or accessibility to understand how to take this a step further. So I kind of just played games until I was 18 and I got my own laptop, and then I started making games.
Right.
But for those that are not in a more accessible place to be able to learn physically from somebody, I would say talk to your parents first, particularly the younger kids, and say, hey, I know we're 1, 2, 3, 4 hours away from the nearest city, wherever you may be at.
Right.
It's really important to me that I want to learn more about this stuff. I would like to go to an in-person game event where you chaperone me, right?
Yes.
Can you spare a day or two or a weekend to take me out to a game event out in Denver or Chicago or wherever else? So look up those game events, where they take place, particularly local game events where you might be able to network with people.
Yes.
Developers love seeing young, enthusiastic developers that want to get into it. And a lot of times people will help you for nothing in return.
Right.
Nothing other than the pure joy of they also wish somebody would have helped them when they were younger.
That's right.
And now they get the chance to do it.
Right.
So I'd say have that conversation with your parents and really look at the events nearby, even if it's several hours away. If it's something you really want to do, I'm confident that your parents will see that and will take you to those events.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because several different things. I know that some of the things that we always love to talk about is for the young people, like you said, talk to their parents, talk to the adults in their even with their teachers, because we always understood that it's one thing for, let's say, someone who is aspiring to be the next amazing creative director on a Nintendo game. It's one thing to say that they want to get mentorship, to learn about and to get direct one-on-one feedback from a Shigeru Miyamoto, for example, or perhaps someone who is like a Casey Hudson that worked on Mass Effect. In which case, that a lot of other people would love to have the opportunity. It becomes very inaccessible in some ways. Versus if they're able to, like you said, reach out through, let's say, friends of a family member, other people that perhaps are in working in either education and media education or perhaps in advertising. Everyone always knows somebody, and we always big proponents of getting that sort of 3-degree removed type of mentorship. Is absolutely amazing for that kind of direct feedback. So love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Mentorship in games is so important in my opinion. And you don't have to just find one person for that mentorship, right? Everyone's different. Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
And so you could lean on several people. And what's great about games is building that network of people that want to see you succeed.
Yes.
And the sooner you can start building that, the better off you'll be.
Yes. Awesome. And one of the other things which you touched upon, which I absolutely love, and that is the actual transferable skills, right? Into other industries. And I know myself, I'm a little bit biased, but I always like to say that when a young person learns how to create a financial forecast for Call of Duty, and they identify comparables like Titanfall and Apex Legends and Battlefield, etc., that same skills of coming up with a forecast transfers directly into real estate comparables-based valuation. It is very, very similar. Not to mention when they create an ad for, let's say, Genshin Impact, they can just as easily do that for a new seasonal release for Taco Bell, which is amazing, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, all of those skills are so transferable. I can't even dive into all the different areas where they're transferable. I'm gonna be making games the rest of my life. And that's what I want to do. It's been my lifelong passion. But I know if something happened and I had to, I have a whole host of skills that I could take in any number of industries that I want.
Yes.
Again, the most important skill that I have acquired over the years is my ability to learn quickly.
Yes.
I truly believe that is the most important skill that you get out of the games industry. Just as you touched on, I didn't touch on it, but the financial aspect, right?
Yeah.
If you're making your own game,
Right.
you can make your own models, you
Right.
can advertise, and all
Right.
of those flow into different areas and fields. Even just the financial or advertisement aspect
Right.
touches hundreds of other industries. Every single industry needs financial models
Right.
to understand P&Ls, cash
Yes.
flow, all of those things. So you're absolutely
Right.
right. There's so much
Right.
transferable knowledge in games.
Yeah, yeah, and that's actually something which I always love to talk to the parents about, right? Because I think in some ways a lot of, I generally believe that most of the parents of teens I speak to are very well intended, and they came of age in another era when perhaps either the opportunities or perhaps the actual sort of all the different applications of game design in a variety of different things, including media, entertainment, and a lot of other fields, may not be as well defined as they are today. And one of the examples I love to talk about, and you've heard me mention this, is the example of the gentleman Mir, who used to play lots and lots of RTS games like StarCraft throughout his teenage years. And when he came of age in his 20s, founded a company with multiple studios developing virtual reality brain training games for cognitive regeneration, right? To combat degenerative effects from Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, as well as other dementias. And so to think about that, I mean, again, from a strictly numerical quantitative standpoint, there were over 40 million people affected by dementias just in the developed Western world. And so tremendous market opportunity to create an impact and make a real difference. And that's just one example, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I love that example.
Yeah.
Because it shows how games very easily transcend this
Yes.
role of entertainment.
Yes.
Right. There's games that are used in applications for nursing homes. There's
Yes.
games that are used for trainings, whether it's like police trainings, military trainings,
Yes.
or corporate trainings.
Yes.
Games really do. Games is such a, I guess, liquid medium.
Yes.
That it's a lot more broad than what most people understand on
Yes.
the surface.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great question because the market is hard for everyone top down.
Yeah.
Right. So speaking on myself personally,
Yes.
it is leaning on my network
Yes.
of people. I have a lot of people, and I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people in my life that I've had the opportunity to become very close friends with.
Yes.
Colleagues. They have seen my hard work in the past.
Yes.
Some of them see my hard work now.
Yep.
And I am confident that because of my network, because of the people that I have created an emotional bond to and gone through these projects and these trials and tribulations with, that we're a community.
Right.
We keep each other afloat. And I believe that's how I will weather any circumstance that comes my way.
Yes, I love that. So it's all about being resilient and resourceful, and don't be afraid to reach out and connect with other people, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm never shy of reaching out. I love congratulating people when they have new opportunities come up. And if anything hard ever comes my way,
Yeah.
I will always be sure to lean on my network because I know they care about me.
Yeah.
And I care about them.
Yes.
Oh, like how does their skills in game translate to them outside of life?
That's right. Their
Oh,
skills and their
yeah.
alter egos, etc.
Yeah, no, I that's a great question. And I think that they do translate very well.
Yes.
To give an example, I have a very close friend of mine. He is a producer.
Yes.
And when we play games,
Yes.
he loves to kind of direct people.
Yes.
We were recently playing a game, Helldivers 2, and he's like, all right, everybody, we're going to do this now. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. He always checks in with everyone, right?
Right.
But he very much loves to do that. Some of the designer friends that I play with, they're like sitting there, like as they're playing, they're spinning up like cool ideas. while we're playing, like, oh, it'd be really cool if like this happened or that happened. So yeah, I do agree with you. I think your hypothesis is correct with the concept that does how somebody, interacts or plays with a game translate to some of their real life type of activities that they like to do. At least from after you brought that up and thinking about it, absolutely, I think it does. I think there is a correlation there.
Well, thank you so much, Raymond, for your time. And, if you're open to it, we'd love to continue this conversation another time and ask you a lot more questions from the young people that we come across. And again, I think you're doing a great thing, giving back to the community and inspiring the next generation of creators and innovators in our midst.
Well, thank you, Michael. Yes, I am happy to come back on. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's something that I love to do. I wish I had that type of mentorship. I wish I had the accessibility to have these questions answered for me when I was younger. So I'd be more than happy to continue to help.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.